to promote the power of women to make their own decisions. In Harrisburg specifically, Pennsylvania bills SB 3 and HB 77 propose overreaching and unconstitutional restrictions on a woman's right to choose. If adopted, these legislations would implement some of the most extreme restrictions on abortion in the country. And as you all know, congressional Republicans have released a bill that would repeal the Affordable Care Act. I'm with you. Along with many harmful measures, Section 103 of the bill would deny Medicaid funding to Planned Parenthood for all women's health care services. It denies women access to the many important services that Planned Parenthood provides. We are here today to tell Pennsylvania's congressional delegation that they must reject this attempt to block Pennsylvania women from accessing birth control, cancer screenings, and other preventative care services. Women can and will make their own health care decisions. So today we have some people here to share with you both their personal and professional stories regarding the impact of this proposed legislation. And I'm pleased to say that once again, Downingtown Mayor Josh Maxwell is here to show support as well. Thank you. Hannah to tell us her story. Yay, Hannah! Thanks for coming out. I'm nervous and freezing, but you're probably just freezing, but I'm nervous. So, I'm here. My name's Hannah Turlish. I'm from Havertown, and this is the story that I was lucky enough to share with Governor Wolf a few weeks ago, and that Aaron reached out and invited me to come here, and I'm so honored and pleased to be here. So here's my story. When my husband and I got married, I was a month away from turning 39 years old. And knowing that biology was not on the side of waiting, we almost immediately started trying to conceive. Months of trying came up empty. And finally, after nearly a year, we got pregnant. Being 40 with excellent health care in New York City, where we were living at the time, I had every checkup and test available. When the 10-week genetic test was negative for Down syndrome, we naively thought we were in the clear. It did reveal that the fetus had XXX syndrome, but the genetic counselors advised that the symptoms were likely to be minor, things like clumsiness or modern learning disabilities, and that we should just enjoy the anticipation of having a daughter. I went alone to the 20-week anatomical scan, which with my doctor's packed schedule could not get done until the 21st week of pregnancy. It never occurred to us that the scan would bring bad news. But it showed a significantly disfigured fetus, and more importantly, a large hole where the developing brain should have been. I was told that the fetus would either die before the 40-week term was over or within hours of delivery, and that the appropriate course was to terminate as soon as the specialist surgeon was available. By the time that day came, I was at nearly 24 weeks. That baby was desperately wanted, but that scan showed that it was not a baby. It was a soon-to-die fetus with no brain. That I was able to terminate the pregnancy is not, that I was able to terminate that pregnancy is quite likely the reason that we were able to go on to have a healthy, beautiful baby boy. Rather than be forced to continue carrying an unviable fetus for as long as 4 more months that my 40-year-old body could not afford to wait, I was able to start the IVF treatment that gave us our miraculous son, who is now 5.5 years old. At the time, it didn't even occur to me to be grateful for having the legal right to make those decisions. I still don't know if I can call myself grateful for something that should be assumed as a fundamental right: autonomy over one's body. And this proposed law, which its sponsors somehow are probably couching in language about the sanctity of life, that pregnancy was not a life. And my story is not at all unusual. It is pretty much the same story of all second and third trimester terminations. No woman wakes up at 20 weeks changing her mind about being pregnant, and each story is one of devastating shock and sorrow. I'm so sad that we have to be out here talking about this, but I hope that my words can help this bill from moving forward. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Kim. I'm not a fan of this whole, and I am a huge fan of seeing you all here and creating the elements and coming out to support this. Thank you for organizing. Is that better? Okay. My story is not particularly profound or juicy, but it is important nonetheless. I am a local mom who runs Westchester of 2 kids, and this is going back about 2 decades. I was a young college student working part-time at CVS with no health insurance, still living with my parents. Put the mic a little closer. I was casually dating a good friend of mine. We were practicing safe, responsible sex. One evening, the condom broke, and after some quick math, I realized I was perilously close to ovulation, and I panicked. I remembered hearing about the morning after pill and reached out to Planned Parenthood of Westchester. I was in no way prepared to become a parent at age 21 with a casual, although close friend with whom I was practicing safe sex. Planned Parenthood provided me with objective insight and help to make the choice to use the morning after pill. I left that appointment armed with both a solution, a better plan going forward, affordable birth control, and a plan for yearly exams, which I otherwise could not afford. And finally, I had the confidence that I was taking control of my reproductive health, control that had lapsed because of lack of health insurance. I continued going to Planned Parenthood for my regular exams while uninsured. I've used Planned Parenthood for STD screening, counseling, and routine annual exams and birth control. As a patient, I've had meaningful conversations with the care providers and staff members there. Now I'm raising a daughter and want her to have access to the same safe, affordable care should she ever face a similar predicament or feel the need to seek treatment or counsel. That's my story. Thanks for being here.
All right. Hi, thanks everyone for coming out. I'm Dr. Gaida. I'm a neonatologist, so I'm involved in women's health care. I'm not an obstetrician. I don't do deliveries. I don't perform abortions or provide women's services, but I work very closely with the physicians who take care of women and their pregnancies. So I'd like to talk to you a little about SB 3 and HB 77 because I've read the text of these bills, and it's really quite extreme, and I want to make that very clear. If you look at the bill, it says it's a 20-week abortion ban. And as you heard earlier, 20 weeks is when you find out that you may have a baby with a horrible defect. And if you find it out at 20 weeks, it's now too late to do anything about it. So that baby may have no heart, no lungs, no brain, and yet you'll have to carry that baby to term because abortion has been banned after that point. So it's really critical what you see what the 20-week means. Now, they did that because they think that, a fetus can feel pain at 20 weeks, but the American College of Obstetrics and Gynecology actually says that it's somewhere in the 3rd trimester, around 26 weeks, that a fetus can feel pain. So it's really kind of fake science that they're using to justify this law. And they're trying to pass it around the country because it's that incrementalism where if you do a little bit each time, you can keep lowering the limit until finally you eliminate abortion. And they're hoping with the more conservative Supreme Court that you end up with a Supreme Court that will allow this to go through. And none of these laws have been upheld by the courts, but with this new court, we may end up having these upheld. Now, there's one more really extreme thing in this bill that I want to make clear. This bill actually bans a procedure called the D&E, or dilation and extraction. Now, the D&E is a procedure used in second trimester terminations, okay? So that means after 13 weeks. The most common, the safest, and the best procedure to do the job will be banned. It'll be illegal for an obstetrician to perform that and they could go to jail for it. So, I mean, if you think about it, that's... You guys all right? Okay. So, I mean, if you think about it, what they're really doing here is they're banning second trimester abortions after 13 weeks because they're going to force an obstetrician to use induction of labor, which is much more difficult, much harder on the woman, involves going through labor and delivering vaginally. So it's really a very mean-spirited way of doing this, and with the eventual goal of eliminating abortion. And it's for women who have a medical problem, that their pregnancy is threatened for their health, the baby's health, and it's really just a disaster. So I just wanted to make that really clear from a medical point of view, and I hope everyone understands that. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. Hannah, can you do me a favor? Can you come up here with me? I want to kind of make a point with Hannah here, and that's that men like me need to listen to people like her when it comes to women's health. So I want to thank you for sharing your story in front of me, and I hope that I have the opportunity to share that with other men, because men need to listen to women when it comes to women's health and stop talking as much as we do. Thank you. No, stay here. Sometimes when you're in Marytown, people take your picture and put it in the paper, and they want them to talk about Hannah when they do that. When I think about Downingtown, where I humbly get to serve as mayor, or Chester County, I think about values where we care about each other. Where it's the church I grew up in, or watching my mother work 2 full-time jobs, raising 4 kids. I think about, like, we support each other in this county. And who the president is right now doesn't support women's health and doesn't represent Chester County values in any way, shape, or form. And I'd be happy if you just stayed in this tower and let us on the municipal and state level take care of ourselves. So I think this is a call to action, because there's a lot of people, specifically on his side of the aisle, that have to make a decision here in Chester County. Are they going to represent his values, Donald Trump's values when it comes to women's health? Are they going to represent Chester County's values when it comes to women's health? So I want people around Chester County to see us here every single Saturday saying, we want you to represent our values, or we will replace you.
Yeah.
And it isn't just supporting Hannah. It's easy for me to come here and say, I support Hannah, I support women's health, and I proudly do. But we also need our politicians and the men that are in political office to listen to women when it comes to women's health. Because I know, and you know as well, men might come in front of you and say, I support women's health, because it's convenient to say that, but they still listen to the jokes. They don't take it seriously. We want, from this point forward, to make sure that people take women's health very seriously. We need to listen to women when we talk about women's health and when we enact legislation. So this week I signed a letter with mayors across Pennsylvania in support of Planned Parenthood funding, because Planned Parenthood saves lives. And this is what I'm going to do for you guys here today, and for Hannah, who inspired me. I'm going to write a letter from Chester County mayors and solicit that to mayors across Chester County, here in Westchester, 10 square feet, so they can support Planned Parenthood. Sorry, I'm a little cold and I'm shaky.
Yeah.
I feel like I had this nice warm hat my godmother made me about an hour ago. It took her 6 hours to make these things. I just want to thank you for being here. Thank you for allowing me to come here and listen to you. And please keep me in mind if you need something, if there's something that I can do to advance this cause. And Hannah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good job. Yes, sir.
Takes a real man to wear a pussy hat.
Yeah? Nice.
Hi. Thank you for coming today, especially in such cold conditions. I'm Erin Rogers. I'm one of the organizers of this event. I have just one more quick story to tell you before we go and get warmer. I want to share a story about Erica Goldblatt Hyatt and her very wanted and very loved baby boy, Darby. In 2012, Erica and her husband were devastated to discover during Erica's pregnancy that Darby had not developed an airway, and that this condition would lead to Darby's heart being crushed by excess fluids that could not be expelled from his body. They spent weeks consulting with specialists and looking for any hope that they could get this corrected. After many weeks of doctor visits, they were told that Darby would most likely die in utero in about 4 weeks from that time, or be born brain dead and unable to breathe. Erica describes this as her first real parenting decision. She and her husband took on the pain of terminating the pregnancy rather than let their beloved son suffer this terrible fate. Erica wanted to be here today, but last week she gave birth to her daughter, Georgia. Georgia was early and she has some complications with the family as well. Please keep them in your thoughts. I stand with Erica and with Hannah and with Kim. Their stories are why we are here today, and these women and their families and all of us are hurt by this thoughtless and cruel legislation. I'm not a paid protester. I've had a couple of people ask me if I've organized these before, or I'm not. I'm a working mom, I live in Chester County, and I'm just really frustrated by the way that our government is acting. And I'm also very cold. I decided that it was time to do something about my frustration. So what do? We need to educate ourselves about the issues. Pay close attention to real news and to primary sources. Filter out the fake news. It too easily distracts us. Don't participate in spreading fake news. Figure out what issues are state issues and what issues are federal issues. Senate Bill 3 and House Bill 77 are state issues. The Affordable Care Act and the defunding of Planned Parenthood are federal issues. Figure out who represents you in each of the legislative bodies and let them know how you stand on issues that impact you and your families. It's okay to feel uncomfortable about making that call. I still get butterflies when I pick up the phone. Use a script, send an email, write a letter. Do whatever you need to do to get your point across. Practice by calling someone who voted in your favor. Thank them for the vote. They need to hear from us too. It might seem like your one voice doesn't matter, but when Representative Eric Rowe hears from me about an issue, and he does hear from me about issues, he might just brush it off. Then he'll hear from 2 other people. Then when he hears from 20 or 30 people in his district, he really takes notice, and even if he disagrees with us, he cannot deny that we exist. We need to use our collective voices to impact change. I have prepared a fact sheet, which actually I have up here. I'll have to get them to our people handing them out. Thanks, Beth. I prepared a fact sheet on the issues discussed here today. Since I am passionate about facts, as well as super nerdy, there are references on all of these fact sheets. Use these to educate yourself and those you speak with. The flip side of the fact sheet contains contact information for all of the state and federal senators and representatives in Pennsylvania. It also contains a script for making those calls and sending those emails. Put those folks on speed dial. They need to hear from you. As we close, I want to thank all of our speakers and volunteers. I especially want to thank my co-host of this rally, Beth Sweet. I told her that I wanted to have a rally when I met her last month at her wonderful ACA rally. She used her knowledge, experience, and connections to make it happen. If it weren't for Beth, there would be about 10 of us standing here, which would be great, but this is a lot better. So thank you, Beth. There are kind of 2 sets of people to look for as you leave the rally. There are folks with handouts, so if you have a handout, show us where you are. And if you have not had a picture taken with your fantastic sign, please make sure that someone gets that before you leave. We want to capture all of those great images. Thank you again for coming. Thanks for all the inspiration that you've given me to keep moving forward. Go call your representatives and have a great day.